But I would ask the C-suite people a very simple question: if this training course or learning initiative that we are considering is 100% successful, how would you know? And listen for their answer. Ask them, what would you see that's different? What would you hear that's different? Or what would you notice that's different? What are your expectations of the return that you will get on this investment that we're considering? And they will start talking about what they want to see out there. And that is the set of criteria they are going to use to measure whether that training was successful. Ultimately, they don't really care how many bums are on how many seats and for how long and that kind of thing. They don't even care really much about the curriculum. They just want to see those people out there doing what they need them to do to execute the organizational strategy. So ask them, what would you notice if this course we're considering is 100% successful? And then actually ask them, how would they know if it was only 50% successful?
That's an interesting one.
And that really makes them stop and think and about just, well, if we don't get everything we want, what would be a halfway house? And would that be acceptable? And then actually ask them, well, okay, that training initiative we did last year, the one, you remember the one. What percentage successful do you think that was now that we've got a little bit of time after it to consider that in hindsight? And what you're really trying to do is connect some dots here between figuring out how they personally measure what's out there. What are their personal measurement criteria for success or failure? Because most metrics that L&D will deliver to them don't really matter to them, and that's the problem. So you need to, when you say, how do you talk to the C-suite, you need to talk to them in the language that they understand and actually figure out what metrics they are using at their gut or intuitive level to figure out whether a program was successful or not. And then you have to hook into those measures because that's what they're still going to use no matter what data you might give them.
That's really interesting. And I think that also comes down to the fact that you then need to explain to them that, well, the reason that program, and this is about being brave in L&D, the reason that program didn't work last year was maybe because we did just focus on sharing knowledge with people. We didn't actually look at what's the transfer, what do we need to do to make sure that is transferred into the workplace. And that's quite a brave thing to admit, that you didn't do it right last year.